All right, we are recording. Awesome, awesome. So we have people from the Bay Area, Chicago, Panama City, ATX, Charlotte, Orlando, San Diego. We have people from all over. So it's good. Let's see. We have Goraf in the house, Jorge Cajamarca. That's awesome. We have Pam King. Is that your mom?
It's my mom, man.
There you go.
Sure it's my mom.
That
Unless
is
there's another
awesome.
one.
That's awesome. We have Tiago, Melissa, Stacy. Awesome, awesome. We're still letting people in. So we'll start here in a few minutes.
As long as we got
Osborne is here.
as long as we have Althea in, we can get started.
Alethea Osborne is here too. Hello, Alethea.
She's here to give me notes and critiques on how I can do better next time.
Oh man, there you go. That's awesome. We have people from Rhode Island, Phoenix, Arizona. Awesome, awesome. So guys, we're super excited for this call. We're going to be letting people in. We're going to start in 1 more minute. We have people from Puerto Rico. What's up, Javier? Denver, Pennsylvania. Awesome, awesome. Shout out from ATL. We have people in Massachusetts watching. So all over, all over. All right. So guys, I am super excited for today's call. I have Matt King here next to me. He is the CEO of GoBundance and also the chief of staff of David Osborne, who he was the guy that he was the guest who I did the goal setting seminar back in November for planning for 2023. If you guys didn't watch that, if you guys don't have the link, let me know and I can send that to you. But last time we talked about goals, and this time we wanted to bring Matt to talk about creating a vision, not only for 2023, but like a 5-year vision, so that you can create the life of your dreams by being able to have clarity on what you want to achieve. Because without clarity, you don't know where you're going. And this means that you take the road to anywhere. But if you want clarity to achieve your goals, then having the vision and having the right vision will help you get there even faster. So Matt, thank you for joining me today. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm honored to be here and honored to get to share some of the learnings that I've had over my life from working with people like David Osborne and Pat Hyben and Diego Corzo, and just here to serve and make sure that everybody gets their vision dialed in, not only for 2023, but also for the next 5 years so that they can live the life they want.
Yes, that is awesome. And I want to make sure that I want to confirm that this is getting recorded.
Yes.
Because they're telling me, some people are telling me that it is recording. Okay, cool. So we're good. Jorge says, please send me the link. All right, perfect. We will. Guys, one of the things that before we get started, just a little bit of homework and stuff. I know that in the last email that you got telling you the 10-minute reminder, there is a link for a Vivid Vision exercise and worksheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this with you guys as well, because we're going to be talking about that. So I'm going to be sharing the link in 1 second so that everybody can get it. And so to get started, Matt, tell us a little bit about you, so that everybody gets to hear a little bit of your story and what got you into what you're doing now. And as you get started too, you feel free to talk about vision and how that has helped you.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, first of all, I'm very fortunate to be in the room with Diego. When we moved to Austin, Texas, and I say we, my wife and I moved to Austin, Texas, we were introduced to Diego, and he showed us around and helped us fall in love with the city. So I don't know that our lives would be quite where it is without your help. So I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, man.
Small town kid, born and raised in a small town in Wisconsin. Grew up very athletic, very competitive. Was very fortunate that my parents at an early age taught me, like, you can have whatever you want in life as long as you're willing to do it and work for it. So I remember, like, in 5th grade, my mom said, like, I said to my mom, I'm like, hey, I want to order pizza for dinner. And she's like, great. She opens up the bottom cabinet underneath the phone, drops the phone book on the table, puts $20 on the table and says, figure it out. And those lessons have stuck with me a lifetime. Those have been super important for me to really recognize that I have the power and the capabilities to do whatever I want, whatever I choose. when I was 22 years old, my girlfriend at the time, who now is my wife, said, hey, I'm going to move to Washington, D.C. and teach in the inner city schools. And I was like, cool, I'm going to come with you. She's like, well, I didn't really invite you. I'm like, oh, you don't really have a choice. I'm coming with you. So we moved across the country. I remember getting in her little red Chevy Cobalt and driving to Washington, D.C. I think from the time we left our neighborhood, or my parents' neighborhood, till the time we hit the south border of Wisconsin, which was about an hour and 20 minutes, both of us just had tears in our eyes and neither of us said a word to each other. I think we saw it as the end of one chapter, but both of us saw like the sun coming up on the horizon and saw the opportunity that we were going to go pursue together. So been very, very fortunate to have her by my side through the whole journey. We started out in Washington, D.C., and I met this guy by the name of Pat Hyben while volunteering at a children's camp for children with incarcerated parents. Found it on Craigslist and had a couple weeks when we were in Baltimore City before we knew where our end destination was going to be. And I went and volunteered and met this guy named Pat Hyben. He started the conversation off by telling me he was a New York Times bestselling author, to which my eyes rolled into the back of my head and I thought, oh boy, here we go, one of these guys. Long story short, I actually started studying Pat. I bought his book off of Amazon, read it in a day, reached out to Pat via Twitter and said, hey man, I read your book in a day. What would it take to have coffee with you? And he's like, sure, I'll have coffee with you. One thing led to another. I ended up going to work for Pat Hyben, helping him build out like a podcast empire and trying to just manage the world he had built from a passive income perspective. One of the companies he had founded was a company called GoBundance. And so in 2013, I believe he told me, hey, I'm going to have you go down to Florida and you're going to volunteer at this GoBundance event. I'm like, cool, what's GoBundance? He's like, it's a mastermind group. I'm like, oh man, what's a mastermind group? I didn't even know what a mastermind group was, but I said, sure, I'll go. So I went down to Florida and volunteered at this mastermind group, was fortunate to be around David Osborne, Rock Thomas, Dan Grebe, Ricky Williams happened to be there. Just a lot of really incredible people. Your brother was there. He was volunteering. I think he was in high school still.
He was graduating. He was graduating his first semester of college. Yes.
So went there and volunteered. Started off as a volunteer, and then just started to practice the tools that these guys were using. I remember David and Rock were going to play golf, and they knew I liked to golf because I'd worked at a country club growing up. And they said, "Hey, do you want to golf with us?" I'm like, "I'd love to golf with you guys, but can I caddy?" And they both looked at me and were like, sure, you can caddy, but like, why wouldn't you want to golf? And to me, I didn't want to golf because I wanted to be present to their conversation, not my round of golf. So I stood on the back of a golf cart for 4 hours, raking bunkers, holding a flag for, two guys worth tens of millions of dollars, and listened to them talk about goals and vision and purpose and all of these things. And I was just a sponge on the back of this golf cart, just absorbing it all. And I went back and I started putting it into practice. And I remember the first time I saw David speak, Pat told me I was going to go to this class and his friend David Osborne was going to speak. And I was like, man, I dropped out of college for a reason. I don't really like class. Like, this isn't for me, but I'm going to go. So I went to watch David Osborne speak. And he had this purple journal. I'll never forget it. And he had it in the back of his pants. He walked around with this purple journal in the back of his pants all day. And I was like, man, what is this guy going to do now? And he started teaching. He took us through a seminar. He took us through goal setting. He took us through all these exercises. And I was like, yeah, I get goals. I was very competitive growing up. I understand how to do that. Like, kind of like, yeah, I kind of know this. Like, you're not telling me anything new. And then he flashed his vision board up on the screen. And he was like, this was my vision board. And there was a private plane and there was a lake house and a beautiful family and all these real estate places, multifamily, single family businesses. And he just was talking super fast. So he flips to the next slide and somebody was like, wait, hold on. And he's like, yeah, how can I help you? And they're like, why was that your vision? He's like, oh, because all of that stuff has come true. So my wife's making me a new one. And I remember like instantly in my head, something clicked and I wrote down, order a purple journal, set a vision for my life. And that was like the moment that like everything just took off for me. Like I had a vision for my life finally, a compelling vision, a purpose for waking up every day. Went to Tahoe a couple months later, served as the Go Crew again. Was just subconsciously attracted to this guy, David Osborne, while still working with Pat. And I remember getting on the flight back from Tahoe to go to DC where my wife and I, our girlfriend and I are living, now my wife. And I remember like the first sentence started off, I live in Austin, Texas. I work for David Osborne. And literally 2 weeks later, he called me and said, hey, what would it take to get you to Austin, Texas? I think you're talented. My world's a mushroom cloud getting ready to explode. I'm not sure what you can do, but if you're talented, you'll figure it out. And if you're not, then it won't work for you. And I remember telling him like, my wife and I haven't even been to Texas, but like, yeah, we'll come check it out. And so we came to check it out, and like still to this day, I almost get goosebumps because it was literally like the vision I had for my life like came true.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't know that. Nobody knew that except me. And I remember when I talked to him when I came to us, I was like, here was my vision. Like, it's just crazy how these things work out. It's crazy how life works in these mysterious ways. And so ever since then, I've been addicted to goal setting. Ever since then, I've been addicted to having a vision. And I'm really honored to be with you guys today to share some of those tips and those tricks so that you too can create a vivid vision that will come true for you and you can live the life of your dreams.
No, that's awesome, Matt. And I've seen that journey. And just so that people know, so you mentioned that you went to Tahoe to a GoBundance event.
Yep.
Right? And that was 2015?
Yeah.
Or
2014.
2014.
2014.
Okay, 2014. And what's so crazy is that you went to Tahoe as Go Crew to volunteer.
Yep.
Right? Who would have thought that we're going to be in Tahoe next week?
Yep.
Fast, like 8 years later, and now you're the CEO of GoBundance. Yeah. So that is like freaking insane.
That's crazy.
And when I joined GoBundance, I'm member 33.
Number 33.
And I mean, you now leading GoBundance, and then now there's like 850 or 914 millionaires who are building an amazing life. And now you're leading the charge. And I am super excited for what is to come for that with your leadership, and see where everything goes.
Yeah, I mean, part of my vision, y'all, was why not me? Somebody's got to be the CEO of GoBundance. Why not me? Somebody's got to play quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. Why not me? Now, it won't be me because I can't throw a football and I'm 5'6".
Right.
But somebody's got to have an epic life, so why not you? And that was a teaching David taught me. And he told me this story about when he was driving into the city of Dallas when he went up to take over the region for his mom, for Keller Williams. Mm-hmm. And he's like, man, who am I to be in this big booming city with all of these brilliant business people, sharp-elbowed, trying to make their way? And he just started telling himself, like, why not me? Somebody's got to do it, so why not me? And that's one of the lessons I hope to instill in my two kids. It's like, why not you? Like my wife, she wanted to run a half marathon. I'm like, why not you? So she ran the Austin half marathon this weekend. She was thrilled. It was amazing. My kids got to cheer on and go to the finish line. Somebody's going to live an epic life. Somebody's going to do amazing things. Why not you? And I think as long as you have a vision that's compelling, you can achieve whatever you put your mind to.
Yeah, and I feel like at the end of the day, the vision is the thing that pulls you, right? Once you're clear on what you want and you have that vision, it pulls you so that you can actually make it happen.
That's right.
And then the universe, funny enough, whether you believe that it's God, the universe, whatever, there's a special power that works toward helping you achieve that vision. That's one of the things that I learned from the book The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho.
Yeah. I think there's the subconscious mind, there's God, there's energy, whatever you believe in, but I do know that the human being, the beings that we are, is really, really powerful. It's like when you say, hey, I want to get a red Range Rover, and all of a sudden you're driving on the highway and all you see is red Range Rovers. Like the power of the subconscious mind is incredible. And if you can learn how to put that to work for you, you can accomplish amazing things way faster than you thought were possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, as for the audience here, so since you were working with Pat, right, and then being part of GoBundance and then transitioning to working with Osborne, as you created your vision, what are some things that you have learned on your journey, things that you've improved, things that you work on, and things that you've implemented, right? Because one of the things that we're going to be sharing here, if you guys can click on the link here in a bit, Matt is going to go over everything of how he has created his vision, and then we're going to be sharing a few other things. So can you walk us a little bit through that? Yeah,
so the first thing I learned was be careful what you write down because it's probably going to come true. So like I remember writing down like, my wife and I are happily married. We have a beautiful young child. They're hard charging. They're driven. And, my mom's on the call. I'm sure my in-laws are listening. Like, we've got a hard charging, driven, incredible daughter who was our firstborn child. And I'm like, man, maybe I should have said like sweet, follows instructions very well, doesn't talk back, because like I got exactly what I asked for. So the first thing I recognize is what you ask for is going to come true. So you've got to be careful with what you ask for, and you've got to be really clear. So if you could pull up the worksheet, I'm going to take you guys through the exercise that I do when I'm writing my vision. And I revise my vision about every 18 months ish. I kind of keep it as a living, breathing document. I kind of manipulate it as things flow in and out of my life of interest. And I'm playing with it constantly, so I'm programming my subconscious mind to be more aware of it. So you'll see in the worksheet, which we're pulling up right now, that in the middle there's an empty circle. And what I want all of you to do in that empty circle is write your name and then write the year 2028. So it's January 4th, 2028. And what we're going to work on is we're going to work on crafting our 5-year vision. And I'm going to take you through the process that I use. And this, for anybody that's gone to any sort of education, like everybody has heard of a mind map. Like we're basically just taking a basic mind map here and using this to help create what we want. So you'll start with your name in the middle and you'll start with the year 2028. Then under each of the categories, I want you to write 1 to 5 things that will happen for you between now and the year 2028 that inspire you, that compel you. And let me read some of my 5-year vision so you can get some ideas. Rylan is 7. That's my daughter. She's spunkier than ever. She is responsible, creative, a problem solver. She loves being outside. So under family, I would write Rylan is 7. Bodie is 4. Melissa is 35. Like I would get very clear on everything that's going on in my family. My parents are this age. They live in Austin. So just bullet point it out in that area so you can use this to reference to go back and get a framework. Your health. What's your body fat? What are your health stats? Are you doing any sort of activity that you still love? Maybe it's swimming, maybe it's biking, maybe it's hiking, maybe it's running. Relationship. Are you married? Are you single? Do you have kids? How's your parents? How's your life? Personal financial. How much money do you make? What's your net worth? What's your passive income? What's your vertical income? Lifestyle. Do you like to golf? Do you like to travel? Are you living in Austin? Are you living in Wisconsin? Are you living in multiple places? Professional. Are you working for yourself? Do you still have a W-2? Contribution. Are you donating to local charities? Do you have your kids at a private school that you're able to support and help run? Are you giving to the local food bank? Is there a charity that compels you? Or big brothers, big sisters? And then environment is, what does your house look like? Is it white? Is it brown? Is it blue? Is it big? Is it small? Is it 3 bedrooms, 5 bedrooms, pool, no pool? Like write these things out in bullet point form because we're going to take these bullet points and we're going to craft a story for your life. The more compelling, the more succinct you can get your story, the more your vision will pull you towards it. So I get crystal clear with my vision down to like the details, and we'll show you my vision board here in a second, but down to like the details on what my house looks like and my wife's car looks like and what I'm doing when she's taking the kids to school, watching out the front window as she drives away in that car. Like I get really, really, really clear. So when I read it, I feel like I'm reading my own storybook and it's exciting.
Yes.
Like it's compelling. So I think we should take a minute here for everybody to write 3-5 things in each category so that you can start to craft your vision. And you can always come back to this exercise. You can always use this exercise to write a 1-year vision. You can always use this exercise to write a 25-year vision. You can always use this exercise to write a 50-year vision, whatever you want. We're just going to work on the 5-year tonight. But let's take a minute or two here to write down a couple points under each category so that we can use that to then write our vision.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why we want to do a 5-year vision too is because it's if we do one for just the end of 2023 or 2024, sometimes our mind will be like, oh, I don't think that's possible, or I don't think that I can make that right now. But if you focus in 5 years to come and you're open-minded and you know that you have, so in the book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich,
Yep.
right? He talks about having the burning desire and the definiteness of having the, like when you know exactly what you want. So the burning desire to know exactly what you want, that's why we want to build that in the 5-year vision, because it's something that there's enough time for you to attract that into your life. So guys, yes, take a few minutes and write down some of the bullet points, and from there we're going to be creating the full vision. So it is 7:22.
And when you're done with a couple points, if you have any desire to share or get feedback on what you wrote down, raise your hand. We can call on you, turn on your audio. We can interact with you a little bit. We'd love to hear some of the things y'all are writing down and what bullet points you're putting under each category. If you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand or ask those in the chat as well so we can address those.
Perfect. Cool. We'll take 3 minutes. And this was a hands-on hands-on workshop. I have around 110 people.
We gotta get some like boring elevator music or something.
So guys, take a few minutes and we'll talk soon. Or also any questions on this, any questions that we can help. Can't wait to see Matt King's vision board.
Oh yeah, we got it.
Yeah, the way that you did yours, I'm like, holy crap, that is awesome.
It's the power of technology, man.
Yeah. It's really cool, all of this. Also, as you guys are sharing this, okay, it says Soli's asking, these bullets are tied to what we want in 2028.
That's correct. Yep. So for, let's say right now you're making 100,000 a year. In 2028, are you making $1 million a year? So personal financial, I make $1 million. My net worth is 100 million. Whatever the numbers are, think as if you are in 2028. What has to happen in order for your life to be magical, in order for your life to be beautiful? And usually when I do this, I go to like a really cool, inspiring place. Like this podcast studio would be a cool place. Like if you're sitting here with a cup of coffee, if you like coffee, which I'm not a big coffee guy, but go somewhere that inspires you, where there's like energy. You know, downtown Austin's a great place. They've got coffee shops that are outside and people are walking their dogs and the birds are chirping. Like you want to go to some place that inspires you, some place that allows you to feel a little bit creative. You know, I haven't found much success creating my vision in like my closet or like in an office. Like I think you got to go somewhere that opens up your mind, opens up your heart a little bit.
Yeah, especially if you're out of like the office space too. And if you can put down your phone and not be bothered, no technology for a while, that's going to be best, so that there's no distractions.
Yep.
Does anybody want to share? Now that we're giving you guys a few minutes. You can raise your hand.
We could always call on the people that had their heads down and looked like they were working hard if you wanted.
Right. We'll go with Sarah Weaver.
All right, Sarah. Oh, no. She's freaking out. So feel free to unmute yourself and then just share what you wrote down. Just one thing, two things, three things, whatever makes you happy.
Let's see. I don't know if... Sarah, can we... Let's see. Maybe it's here.
I cannot hear Sarah.
I don't know if we can hear Sarah.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Oh, way to put me on the spot. I know I should never come on video. That's when you get called. So tied, what do I want in 2028? Yes, I have a really clear vision. And I love what you said, Matt. I think it's so important to go somewhere inspiring. It's really important to have what I call pattern interrupts. So like if you're in the same room that you have to do your homework in or talk to your boss in, it's a little hard to feel inspired. So I have been really lucky to go to some really cool places. And this time last year, I wrote a vivid vision, not quite to 2028, but it will still, I think, be relevant. And I focused a lot on how I felt. And so I felt really strong, stronger than I do now. And I look really good. My arms are toned. I can not only walk into stores and grab clothes off the rack, but I can do things that I can't do with confidence right now. So there's certain mountains that I want to climb and certain physical tasks that I want to do. And so a lot of mine is tied to how I'm feeling and tied to my health. And so that's what I guess feel called to share with you guys.
And when you read it, you feel inspired, you feel compelled, right? Like you can even talk about when you're saying it, you can see your body language express how confident that makes you.
Yeah. And for girls out there, I can see what I look like. I know what Lululemon tight, cool top I want to buy. I can see it and I look good.
I have that same crop top you're thinking about. It looks great on me too.
with the back. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah. Who else? We'll do one more. We'll do one more, and then I'm gonna see. Matt Jones says, "How do you balance the desire to be realistic in this exercise? There is temptation to try to figure out what is realistic before letting my own mind run free? What do I want?
If Matt Jones is in a place to talk, I'd love to hear an example of realistic versus letting your mind run to where you want. Right there, right?
Yes. We'll see if Matt can be unmuted. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, here I am. So, just using very simple numbers. If I'm at $1 million net worth now, is it realistic to desire to be at 100 million in 5 years? My brain tells me no. What do I do with that?
I mean, if you own the next Burger King franchise or the next McDonald's empire, maybe it's realistic. But I always try to like think about like, okay, what am I trying to hit from a target perspective? What am I trying to do? And then I'll always try to double it. So if it's like, okay, you're worth $1 million now, let's say you double it every 3 years. That means you're probably worth about $3.5 million in the next 5 years. How would it feel to be worth $7 million in 5 years?
Got it.
So that's kind of how I think through it. Like I always add like a little double factor on there to push myself a little bit. I understand the idea of like, you'll talk to somebody and they have a great job and they're making 65 grand a year and living an amazing life. And you say, well, what are you doing next year? And they're like, I'm going to own a private plane. You're like, maybe you could win the lottery. That's a possibility. I don't want to take that from you. But like, what if you flew private once next year? How would that make you feel? Like, oh, I'd be excited. I'm like, okay, let's start with that. Fly private once. Stuff like that. So I think just take like a realistic goal and then double it. And when it comes to like mathematical, like your net worth and stuff like that, you can use the power of compounding. You can use tools out there to come up with a rough idea of where your net worth will be in 5 years if you hit a 15% IRR, and then double it. See how it feels.
Yeah.
Got it.
Now,
Thank you.
And you will know too, depending on what projects you're working on and stuff like that, right? Because if you're worth $1 million right now and you're working on an opportunity, like on a business or something, like a SaaS business as an example that you can take on, then potentially the 100 million mark might be a little bit of a stretch. But if you're working with the right team, the right atmosphere, right too, your vision will actually help you, like you can take your vision and be like, okay, what problems can I solve that will help me towards that? And also, what types of like, do you need the right team? Like, is it gonna be just done by you, right? And I know that this is more like on that, how do you get to the 100 million mark? But understand that whether you want to go from 1 to 10, 1 to 20, or 1 to 100, you're definitely gonna need, like Matt said, the power of compounding, power of the momentum from various different sources, and you need to leverage the right way with people, capital, social media, and technology.
Yeah, the only other thing I'd add there, Matt, is the other thing is like, what does being worth $100 million do for you? Does it allow you to live financially free? Does it allow you to escape economic gravity? Like Sarah, does it make you feel a certain way? Don't focus. I mean, put the number down. It's great to have a number. It's great to have a target, but focus more on how that feels and the lifestyle that gives you and the activities you're able to do because of it. And focus on those things in your 5-year vision more so than the actual number, because maybe the government prints another $10 trillion or however much they've printed through COVID, and your net worth goes from 1 to 10 just by doing nothing, waking up and letting your assets work for you. So, there's always that possibility. I have a number, so I have a target in mind. So I have a destination I'm driving towards. But at the end of the day, it's the lifestyle that number is going to bring me that I focus more on.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for the question.
Yes. Here, there says also, what inputs are you doing to get 100 mil? And what financial vehicles? Yes. So that's talking about giving a little bit of an insight on that one. And then Raul is asking, generally speaking, 2x every 5 years. He said 3 years.
Yeah, I think there's the rule of 15s. It's like if you hit a 15% annualized return, your net worth doubles every 3.2 years or something like that. It's just around right every 3 years. So you can look it up. If I had a better memory, I would remember it off the top of my head. But I think it's called like the rule of 15 or something. And it's if you hit that 15% return, your net worth doubles every 3 years or something like that.
Yes, because then he says here, if you have the work ethic and the mindset of being a connector and the just get it done attitude, is that enough compounding or more on the other end? So I would say, Raul, this is more like if you just put the money that you have now into that 15-year return, then that's going to be then that type of return every 2 year, every like 2x every 3 years, that's more if you coast, right? But if you're have the go-getter attitude, you're creating opportunities, you're buying businesses, and I know that you are, there's a lot more opportunity for growth to grow your net worth faster, especially if you begin acquiring other, like reinvesting that money back into the business, back into real estate, and then you match that with a little bit of appreciation as well, not just cash on cash return, and you'll be solid. Does anybody else have one? We can take one more person to share. Let's see, I'm going to pick on somebody.
Call on Brock, man. We spent some
What's
time
up,
working
Brock?
on this stuff. Let's hear what his vision sounds like.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing good. Yeah, I mean, I wrote something kind of early last year, or not early last year, late last year. My goals have actually changed a little bit since then, but yeah, I just have a vision of owning small businesses in the next 5 years, owning at least 5 small businesses. And for my health, I'd like to be at 220 pounds at 6% body fat, a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. Lifestyle, I'd like to be traveling at least 3 months out of the year.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
The power of how clear Brock has gotten on some of those things is where the magic happens. You know, knowing the exact number, knowing the body fat, knowing how many months he's traveling, how many small businesses he owns. That's where the power comes in that clarity.
Yeah. Guys, for anybody else that may not want to share here, but in the chat, feel free to share one of either your health vision, your professional relationships, contribution, your lifestyle, so that we can check it out here on the chat. That'll be very helpful for us.
Now we get to jump into the fun part, guys. And the fun part is writing your story. So I'm going to read a little bit of my 5-year vision. Now keep in mind, I'm reading you a version of my 5-year vision to make a point. I wrote this 5-year vision in 2021. So this vision was actually wrote in 2021 on August 1st. And I said, the day is August 1st, 2026. Life is great. Melissa and I have been happily married for 8 years this month. She continues to push me to become a better man, husband, father, and inspires me to achieve my goals daily. Being married is the second most rewarding gift in my life, right behind being a dad. Melissa's an incredible mother. I'm not sure how myself or our kids got so lucky. She's finally able to stay home, which she started this year, by the way. She's very active in Ryland's classroom, which she's very active at Ryland's school now. She takes care of Bodie, who we had 18 months ago, and Charlie, who we're talking about having another kid or adopting a kid, and I've named him Charlie, or her Charlie. She loves to read, journal, work out. She just ran a half marathon. That summer in 2020, when her mom taught her how to sew, has stuck with her for a lifetime. 2020 was COVID. Her mom taught her how to sew. Now, granted, the sewing machine is in the box in the attic, but she now knows how to sew. So like these things that I wrote actually come true. It's pretty crazy. This is the crazy part. Some days I sit gratefully in the window and watch her drive off in that big white SUV filled with our family. Last summer, I bought her a car. It was a big white SUV. She takes the kids to school in a big white SUV.
That's awesome.
So again, like the power of your vision, I'm telling you, it's incredible. Rylan is 7. Our daughter right now is 3.5. So this would be, 2.5 years from now, 3.5 years from now. Rylan is 7. She is responsible, creative, a problem solver. She loves being outside. She stays active, helping others with any and all projects. She's an avid reader. She loves playing sports, and she loves being in the water. All of those things she loves to do. She's a great big sister and still best friends with Reese, which is our dog. And then I get, even more clear, like moving into our new house in 2021, which is what the house you helped us buy, has allowed us to begin creating memories. Having a 4-bedroom house on an acre or more in Dripping Springs has allowed us to spend a lot of time in the pool, countless family dinners at the breakfast bar in the kitchen, and create our first family business selling eggs called the King's Coop. So like I get really, really clear. And then I say things like the extended family is happy and healthy. Mom and dad moved to Austin, Texas at the end of 2023. September, my dad retires. My parents 2 weeks ago put a house in Austin, to be built, under contract, and we'll move here at the end of 2023.
Look at that.
So the power of your vision, I'm telling you, it compels you, it pulls you, and see the clarity that I write with. Like, this is a story. Like, I get goosebumps reading this to you. Like, I could read this to my kid and be excited about it. So it talks about what my parents are doing. It talks about what my in-laws are doing. My father-in-law still loves to split wood. He works on projects outside, and of course, he loves to cut grass. I talk about what my sister's doing. She's in LA running her own business. Personally, I'm healthier than ever. I've been able to keep my body fat at 8%, have enjoyed mixing swimming and CrossFit workouts into my routine. I eat clean. Talk about the handicap I have for golf. So like, I get really, really clear. I talk about my personal financial goals, what my vertical income is, what my horizontal income is, how many rental doors I'll have, what my net worth is. And I always end it with this or something better, because I always want to tell my mind it could always be better than what you've envisioned.
That's awesome.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the bullet points that you wrote and let's start crafting your story. Just start with one paragraph tonight. This is an exercise. It's not really conducive to do on this webinar, but start with one paragraph. Start with that opening paragraph. It's January 24th, 2028. I'm sitting blank. Here's what my life looks like. Maybe I'm sitting on a beach in Costa Rica. Maybe I'm sitting in the Blue Lagoon in Iceland. Maybe I'm sitting at a coffee shop in Austin, Texas. Maybe I'm sitting on my farm in Wisconsin. Like, whatever your vision looks like, start that first paragraph off. Take a minute here to write that first paragraph and make sure it's compelling. Make sure it's exciting. January 24th, 2028, my life is blank.
Yeah. That's awesome. That gave me goosebumps. And
Pretty crazy, dude.
Reading everything, I'm like, oh my God.
Pretty crazy.
It has happened. All right, guys. So take a few minutes and we will connect soon. Gaurav here be part of GoBundance Champions
There you go,
in
man.
5 years.
You could be part of it now, man. Just volunteer at an event like Ward does.
Right?
Why wait?
While you guys are writing, I'm going to read something here. So Soli says, retire my family. His wife. Retire his wife. Trista says, provide jobs people want to have. I can speak to my employees in their native language. Ooh.
Pretty cool.
Pass my Cal TPA, exercise 4 days a week, be healthy, and have passive income with property investments. That's good, Martin.
It's good, man. Get clear on that. How many properties? What does healthy look like? Is it a weight? Is it a body fat? Is it able to run a marathon? Like, get clear. All right, we need 2 brave souls that are willing to read their first paragraph, their opening sentence or 2. And like, not asking for a ton here, but let's use y'all's bravery to inspire some other people that are writing or maybe having a writer's block like we called it in high school. Maybe Diego could read a little bit of his 5-year vision.
Yes, I'll do that a little bit while some of you guys raise your hand to share, or I'll call you guys out too, which will be good. All right, so I'll share a little bit of mine. I went descriptive in the beginning with just everything. So I said the year's 2027. My name is Diego Corzo. Now I'm 37 years old. My mom and dad are both 61 years old. My brother's 32. And he has a son that is 5 years old. I am super grateful for the past 5 years, everything I have accomplished, and for all of the lessons learned throughout the journey. The relationships with my parents is amazing. As always, I see them often in Sarasota, Florida, and they continue to work in the restaurant. So I talk a bit about like what my parents are doing. By this time, my mom has gotten her green card, and I've given them the gift along with my brother to a first-class trip to Europe, all expenses paid for a month. They got to travel and create amazing memories. My parents are also enjoying the beach house that we bought together and are Airbnb from time to time. My brother Gonzalo and Jackie are having a great marriage, and Matias is 5 years old. So I talk a little bit about them. And then I have here, I'm 37 years old. I am 37 years old. Hold on, somebody. Okay, there we go. Okay, so in 2027, I'm 37. I have a wife and 1 kid with the talks of another one soon. I am I enjoy the family time, and my wife has the option to work or stay at home and take care of the kids. I take walks with my kid every day and my wife, and I enjoy um, the free time that I have with them. We do have a nanny and a cleaner that takes care of the day to day around the house. So I get very clear on all of this stuff. Yeah.
Clarity is power.
Yeah. My real estate team is kicking ass in Austin, Texas. I am working as a realtor, but more on the management side rather than being in production. I talk about that. I talk about different businesses and all of that stuff. I continue to be part of Go Abundance, and I've invested in syndication, business opportunities. I go to 2 events a year, plus my yearly pod. So I go like descriptive
that's awesome.
everything.
Yeah, that's power.
So guys, the more descriptive that you are, the more that you build it. Mine goes on and on. So
and you'll see both of us keep it in our phones in our notes, so we can pop this up when we're on an airplane, when we're having a bad day, once we get done with a workout and we need a little inspiration, when we're getting ready to tackle that hard task at work. It's like, man, what is this for?
Yeah.
When you can't get the kids to bed, like you read it when you need it.
Yes.
And it's always on my phone. It's always on your phone. I have it in my journal too, but it's on my phone. And I probably, one of my goals inside of my goals is to read my 5-year vision 25 times a year. If I read that twice a month, my subconscious mind is not only fired up to go get it, but it's programmed to go find it. And I put my mind to work for me and my spirit to work for me. So I think having it on your phone is very important.
Yeah, and what's interesting too is that you and I both ended the same way. I have all of this or something better.
Yep.
So
all of this or something better. That's the way. Guys, that's a great way to end it.
It works. It works. All right, who would like to share theirs? What's up, Anton? Look at that. Cool. Anybody would like to share?
Call on people.
I'm gonna call on people. Christian Amparan, who just got a wholesale deal. He just got a home, seller finance, 0% interest. I'm like, oh my God.
That seller's an idiot, but you're lucky. That was really fortunate.
Christian, you have a little bit of your vision?
Yeah. It is the year 2028. I heard you say 2027. I'm not sure which one's right, but I no longer work because I have to. I follow my passions and continue to strive for my dreams, and I am very content with what I have made of my life. I am happily married with 1 kid and 1 on the way. I have retired my parents, and I am very active in my community. I own 7 million-dollar businesses and 1 nonprofit organization. I am a leader to many in my community and around the country.
How does that feel to read it?
It feels very empowering.
Yeah, man, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful life. 2027 was just the year Diego, so his was obviously a year old. 2028 is 5 years from now.
Yes. I did mine last year. Cool. We'll do one more. Let's see. We'll go with Zoo. If you want to share a little bit of yours.
Sue Saller.
She's like, oh man.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Hi, Diego. Hi, Matt. Thanks for doing this. I'm going to cheat a little bit because I was in Emerge and I wrote mine back in October. But it's interesting to see that even some of it is starting to appear. But I'll read some of the highlights. So I started with, I woke up this cool October morning and realized I feel better now at 55 than I did when I was 50. I lost 10 pounds, eat clean, I run. My husband and I have a home gym and he continues to train me. We're in good physical condition. We'll talk about our marriage. Our home is simple, clean, uncluttered, and spacious. And we have a place for the cats to go outside. Let's see, our kitchen is open. And I wrote this. I have solid wooden cabinets that have soft closed doors, which I don't know. I would want that.
Why not you,
We
Sue?
don't live
Why
far
not?
from. Yeah, why not? Yeah, because I don't have a house that had it ever. So
You
There you
deserve it.
go.
our home sits on 2 acres, and that's enough. I have casual clothes. Last year, I replaced our 2 14-year-old cars with 2 Teslas that I paid cash for, and we're heading to Niagara Falls in the spring. Let's see, our 5 children come to visit, and I plan to take them all on an all-paid vacation somewhere, probably a cruise.
That's
and
awesome.
then I wrote 5 years ago, I decided to stop listening to the limiting voices in my head that said, this is all there is to life. You can't do that, and you'll never be anything. I realized God had given me talents and skills that I should not keep to myself. I decided to combine my love of teaching math, financial education, and real estate to create the reality that I live today. The website that I launched to provide a educational curriculum that teaches kids about real estate investing and financial education continues to be a source of passive income for me, as well as the videos I recorded. I manage my portfolio from my home office that consists of rental properties and my stock portfolio. I have time for phone calls with my team. Once a week, I record a podcast for my financial education channel, and I volunteer at our local church counseling people in debt. And today, I can make my life as simple or as complicated as I want. The beauty is that it is a choice. I worked hard to get here, but it was worth it.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
What parts have come true so far already?
I launched my podcast last week.
Good for you.
So
Awesome.
yeah, so that was the first. And
I'll be on your podcast if you want a guest.
oh my gosh, yeah, I'll take you up on that.
Deal.
Would you
It's
be
my
able to share the
podcast.
link here so that we can all check it out?
Oh my gosh, I'm not sure how. It's called Small Steps, Big Wins podcast.
Cool.
Small Steps, Big Wins, and it's on. I just checked it. It's on Apple, and it's on Google too. So it's just, if you type in Small Steps,
Big wins.
Big Wins, and it's just it was my way. I just want to inspire people to take little steps each day to have big wins. So I'm just looking. I have a couple friends that are willing to talk about their stories, how they started to change they took some steps and changed things, and their life changed their trajectory. I just want to give back to people. I'm a teacher by nature. I've been a teacher for 30 years. So you just have that in it. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I'd be honored.
oh my gosh, yeah, there it is.
There you
There
go.
you go.
Now remember, it's the first. I just got my first one done. I have to edit my second one, and the first one always sucks. So
That's
I look
all
at
great.
It,
You
it's
did
get
it. You
better
took
each
action. It's
time.
all incredible. I'll be on. Diego will be on. I'll
Yes.
volunteer him.
Oh my
For
gosh,
sure.
yeah.
Both
Oh
be
yeah,
guests.
and I'm building. My website's almost done.
Awesome.
I built it from the ground up. A friend of mine's hosting it for me, and I taught myself how to build a website. So it's almost done. I just have to get a couple of kick-ass pictures up there. But yeah, the link is, it's almost there. It's www.suesaller.com, but it's not up yet. It's
Congratulations. That's beautiful. Thank you for
Yes.
sharing.
Yeah.
We'll definitely be there and share.
Sure. Thanks for
Yes.
calling on me. I appreciate that. I didn't expect it. So
Yeah,
thank
we
you.
did not
It was-
expect for you to have the
it was-
whole thing. So that's awesome.
It was my joy.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. You're
Well,
welcome.
let's jump into the next iteration of the vision. So you have your crystal clear story, and that can be enough for you. If your crystal clear story is good, keep it, read it. It's compelling. I'm a visual person. So, like I said, I dropped out of college, and so I like to see things. So I took it a step further. I used a website called Upwork, which all of you can have access to. You can post talents, jobs, whatever you need, and people from around the country can bid on it and can step up and say, hey, I can do that task for you for 100 or 300 or 50 or 10 or whatever the number is. And so what I did was I was like, man, what is like the happiest place on earth? And it was like, well, Disney, that's their slogan, right? So I was like, well, when you walk into Disney, you get a map, you get a theme map, and you know where every ride is and you know what it looks like. And I was like, man, it'd be really cool to create a Disney map for my life. So if we could pull up my vision, I'll walk you guys through what I had created. Now keep in mind, this was 2 years ago. No, not that.
No, the vision I think is the
It's a picture. So this was created 2.5 years ago. I spent $300 on Upwork to have somebody, I think they were in Lithuania. I can't remember off the top of my head where they were. But I had it created, and I'll share it with you guys and show you. Now, I put this above my dresser. I had it made into one of those metal frame pictures for like $15. So I'm just saying the price so you guys can understand, like, this is not a complicated thing to do. Like, anybody on this call can be doing this. I put it above where my socks are, so every day I see it when I leave to go to the gym. A lot of the stuff in it has come true.
And if anything, Ward, if you don't have it, let me share my screen.
It's up.
It's up. Can you guys see it? Can you guys let me know in the comments in the chat if you guys can see it?
No, I can't see it yet. Not yet.
All right, it's
They're
almost
pulling it
there. All right, perfect.
I'm gonna look this way so I can see it a little bit when I'm telling you guys what we're going through. But again, like, this is the college level. This is the advanced level. This is if you want to take things a step further and really have something that is compelling and inspiring. So this is my vision. This is like the king world when I'm, however old I am. So what's ironic was when I had this vision made, our daughter was the only one born at the time. You'll see in the vision, the second youngest child is a boy. Bodhi, our son, was born after her. So ironically, that was the second child. The white house in the middle was a house I found online that I was like, oh, that's a cool house. Ironically, our driveway at the house we built is on the left side of the house, same side as this. Ironically, at our house, the pool runs perpendicular to the backyard, to the house.
Yeah.
Ironically, it has a pavilion just like this on one side of the pool. So again, like, it wasn't like I looked at the vision and go like, I'm going to put the pool perpendicular. Like, life just starts to happen, and all of a sudden, all of these things start to come true. So I have real estate on there that I own. I have a place called the Skunk Works, which is a WeWorking type environment where I want to bring entrepreneurs together to create beautiful businesses. You'll see I have this logo on a couple of the buildings called Hornies. I have this beautiful competitor to Buc-ee's that a friend and I mapped out on our drive up to Dallas one day. And I went way too in the weeds and I'm way too excited about trying to compete with this big franchise called Buc-ee's down here in Texas. So I've got this all mapped out on how I'm going to take over the grocery store. The gas station, car wash, convenience store type concept. So I have this in my room. I see it every single day. Now, I don't sit there and study it and go like, wow, look at that beautiful private plane or that beautiful lake house up there. But subconsciously, I see it every single day. And I remember like why I'm working so hard is so I can have this life for my family and I, so I can achieve all of these things, so I can impact all the lives I want to impact. And I'm telling you, like, the mind works in these incredible ways, and all of this stuff just has started to come into my life in these weird, unique, serendipitous ways.
That's awesome, dude. That's inspiring. And you see that
every day. Every day. It's probably size of a piece of legal paper hanging on the wall right above where my socks are. So every day I get ready. Every day I pull my socks out of the drawer. I'm seeing it. Now, again, I don't sit there and study it, but I see it. I know what it's on there.
That's awesome.
We've got some time now. I think it would be awesome to open up to questions. Anybody that has questions, comments, thoughts, ideas. Diego and I are here to serve and help in any way we can. If you want to bounce some ideas off of us on vision or ask questions, nothing's off the table. Happy to address anything.
Yes, if you want, please raise your hand or unmute yourself, and we can get some feedback from you. Paul might chat. He can. Paul, do you have a question? All right, let's see. What's up, Paul? You're on mute. Let's see.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Diego. Hey, Matt. Good to hear your voice again as well. So it's funny. I've been thinking about this, and it might just be the universe doing its thing. I naturally am in software and also, buy real estate, but I've been thinking about selling one of my short-term rentals and basically buying a software business. And so my question, I guess, might just be almost a limiting belief, right? Which we can all, possibly resonate with, that I like my W-2 right now. Don't really want to leave it, but also do want to buy, a software company. And so my thought is just, the details will kind of come out in terms of, if I were to buy a software company and it was, the best thing since sliced bread, could I have just a really good operator, right? A who? and just go on its merry way. And then whenever I'd want to go in the software company, I could. So really that being the sort of story, like what sort of questions do you maybe ask yourself or other people in, say, that deal or that opportunity to try to uncover, hey, is this the best thing for me? Example, buying a software company. Example, leaving W-2, things like that. Like what comes to mind?
Yeah, I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here. So what comes to mind for me is if you say I've been thinking about it and I kind of want to, like, just freaking do it, dude. The worst thing that happens is you lose a little bit of money, but the best thing that happens is even if the deal sucks, you're going to learn a ton. Like my wife's like, I think I want to run a marathon. Run the freaking marathon. Like you only live one life and you don't know how long that life is going to be. Like I lost a dear friend at 23. Like he thought he had 30 years, 50 years, 70 years left to live. But guess what? It was his time and it was over. He died with all of these, I think I want to some days. Like, don't be that guy that I think I want to someday and die with all of those things. They say the richest place on earth is the graveyard because everybody dies with billion-dollar ideas that they never took action on. So I would take action on the software company. I would ask myself, who do I need to talk to look at software companies? Who do I need to talk to that's bought software companies in the past? Who do I need to sell my short-term rental company in order to get the maximum profit from this property? And I would just take action. Now, don't take blind action. Underwrite the deal. Make sure you understand the software. Is there a team in place? Do you understand the underlying technology? And if the answer is yes to all those things, buy the damn company. If it fails, you at least learned. Think of it as paying for an education. But ultimately, what's going to happen is you're going to buy the company, you're going to fail forward, you're going to learn, you're going to grow, and the company is going to be successful. And if it's not, it doesn't go to zero value overnight. You buy the company, things aren't going great. You probably have a 12-month window to sell the business and save some of your money and not lose all of it. But I'll tell you, a lot of these companies are being sold right now with incredible operators already in place, incredible systems already in place, and the baby boomer generation just wants to retire and just wants to wipe their hands clean. There's also this concept of structuring deals, which we could go way deep into on a future call, but structure the deal in a favorable manner for you. So like, hey, I'm going to buy your software company, but I'm going to pay you with your own money over 3 years with $10,000 down, just like our friend did with the house at 0% interest. So I'm going to pay you with $10,000 down, and I'm going to pay you monthly payments at the same amount you're making right now from your software company. Anything I do to grow it, I get to keep, but you get the monthly payments for the next 2 years. And guess what? If you fail, you lose 10 grand, you hand them their business back and say, sorry, you got a mess now, and you walk away. Like just structure the deal in a way that you can win. But I would just tell you, man, like if you're thinking about it and you're hemming and hawing, like you'll analyze the heck out of it. You'll second guess the heck out of it. You're always going to find a reason to not do it. I would just do it, take action, and trust that you will find the way or make the way to make it work.
Yeah, you bet. And this is kind of like day 4 on this thought process. I've already talked to Diego and Julio on his team on selling my short-term rentals. So, we're not taking action. It's a dream that is, becoming a potential reality. So, no, great stuff. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for the question.
Yeah, you bet.
That's great. Who else?
See, there you go. Somebody in the chat said they want to talk to somebody about buying a software company. So just right there, by telling your vision, putting it out to the world, the universe shows up in mysterious ways, and maybe that guy wants to sell you his company or buy one with you.
Paul, reach out to Vlad or put your IG here, and that way you guys can connect. There's a question from Tommy. How do you really figure out, hone in, and focus on what you're good at? Got any cliff notes or book suggestions? How do you figure out what you're good at?
I figured out what I was good at by figuring out what I wasn't good at. I failed a bunch and understood where I am not good. I'm not a sales guy. I'm not a student. I'm not an educator. What I am is I'm scrappy, I'm ambitious, and I have a desire to figure out how to solve problems. And I figured that out by dropping out of college. I figured that out by understanding who I couldn't work for and who I could work for. I figured that out by understanding what environment I needed to thrive versus what I didn't need to thrive. So I figured out what I was good at by failing a bunch and using the awareness from the failure to create better opportunities to choose what I needed to choose that I could thrive at.
Yeah, there's also a book called Strengths Finders that somebody just told me about. Mm-hmm. And also, if you take the DISC profile test, I feel like you'll get to know a little bit more on like if you're a high D, like if you're a driver, if you're a high C, more on spreadsheets. I more communicative, and S will be more like stable. And so that goes more for like the personality type. But then once you know your personality type, then you can find out other things that play to your strengths. Love that. Strengths Finders. Finders book.
The test is called the DISC, DISC. Tony Robbins used to have a really good one on his website, but he made you pay for the assessment now, of course, because too many people are using it for free.
But it was so good.
It was so good. It's still there. It's like $20. It's not that expensive. The other one I really like is called the Enneagram, and that's another personality assessment. It just helps understand why you're wired, why you do the things you do, and it helps you use that wiring to sort of harness your potential and get what you want.
Cool. Anybody else have any questions or
2 new messages, man?
2 new messages. Okay, what's the best way to really focus on daily tasks and limiting distractions? Also, taking advantage of the day and getting all tasks done.
Yeah, so that's a great question. Life throws a lot of problems at us on a day-to-day basis. We all have these damn things called cell phones that are full of emails, text messages, social media. You know, I went as far as up until I became CEO of GoBundance, I deleted all of my social media accounts from my phone. I had my assistant change all of my passwords and I couldn't log into it because it just took time out of my day. But the way that I track my habits is I have a daily habit tracker, which I'm sure a lot of you have seen when David did his goals. James Clear, Atomic Habits, comes right from that. And basically I have on here the habits that I need to fulfill for myself on a daily basis to make sure that as a human, I am the most refined as possible. So I weigh myself, I work out, I journal, I read, I cold plunge, I intermittent fast, I track my macros. I'm trying to eat more vegetarian and vegan, but the nutritionist I hired is trying to make me eat a lot of protein, so it's really hard to do those two things. I do a thing called 50-25, which is 50 sit-ups, 25 push-ups, no alcohol, review my goals, review my 5-year vision. So Diego has something very similar. So I would start with like the things that fulfill you, the things that fuel you, and then the habits and the tasks at work or the day-to-day tasks, like write down a list and just start with the first 3. And then maybe the next day, maybe can you do the first 4? And then next day, can you do the first 5? Like it's almost like training for a marathon. You need to train your body, your well-being, your spirit to be able to accomplish tasks and become a taskmaster. But ultimately, like a lot of the fluff in our life doesn't need to be addressed. We think it's important. It's not. We think it's urgent. It's probably not. Like write things down on a list, prioritize it, do the first 3 and see if anything else matters by noon. And most likely it will be no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really important. And the other thing that I would say too is make sure that you know, like as you're tracking stuff, also make sure that if you time block it on your calendar, then you know, okay, I'm going to spend these 2 hours doing this and I'm not going to look at my phone. I'm going to respect that time for that particular task. Once you time block it and you respect it, then you begin seeing those results.
Yeah, it's not a workbook. The concept is in James Clear's book called Atomic Habits. I'm sure you could download the Atomic Habit template off the internet. I had my assistant recreate one for me because I'm a little OCD and want things a certain way and to look a certain way and color a certain way. We can email it out after this call. I'll get it to Ward and Diego and they can send out.
We actually have it. So if you send me an email.
Yeah, send Diego an email.
If you send me an email, we'll make sure to send it to you. And actually one thing that we'll do, so after this, we're going to be emailing everybody the recording and we'll add the vision sheets as well as that habit tracker sheet, just so that you guys have it. So everybody will get it. Matt, have you fulfilled your goal of writing a bowl?
So that's a great question, Paul. Yes, I have fulfilled my goal of writing a bowl. I did it at the end of 2021.
And what happened?
I was on for about 8 seconds, got thrown into the gate, snapped my Achilles tendon, had 1 surgery, re-ruptured my Achilles tendon 2 months later, post-op at physical therapy, ruptured it again, had a second surgery, and probably will ride a bull again. But yes, I rode a bull. And honestly, from that, it was a really interesting experience. 16-year-old kid taught me how to ride a bull at his ranch. His parents' house was on cinder blocks. It was like a mobile home, and they had 10 bulls in the backyards with a bullpen. I was like, well, what do you want to do with your life? He's like, I want to be a 2-time world champion. Like, he told me his vision crystal freaking clear. And so I was like so inspired by this kid. I said, if I can ever do anything to help you, let me know. So he called me a couple weeks later and just like seeing how I was doing. And he's like, hey, have you ever thought about buying a bull? I'm like, to eat? He's like, no. You take them to the rodeos and you buck them. I'm like, no, I've never thought about buying a bull. He's like, well, look, I think we can start a bull team. And I think we can do all these things. And this is one of my visions. And do you have any interest? I'm like, I just have interest in supporting you. You're a person with a vision. You're a person with goals. You're driven. And I want to be in alignment with people like you. So I'm like, if you find a bull under $7,000, I'll buy it. Well, of course, the next day he found a bull for $6,500. We bought the bull. One thing led to another. We bought a second bull. We have 2 bulls now. One of them has won one competition. The other one won another competition. We haven't recouped all of our money, but we could probably sell both of them for more than what we bought them. I think he did find really good deals. It's kind of like real estate. You can get them underpriced and people that have to sell them. But yeah, it's led to a pretty cool, unique story. That kid's on like the fast track to be a professional bull rider. And my Achilles will never be the same from that beautiful decision.
Awesome, man. All right, there's a question from Soli. Let's see.
Hey, sorry, one more question. I guess, so my thing is right now I have this thing from Think and Grow Rich written out. It talks about it talks about the 6 steps, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. So that's one thing I basically reread, memorize to morning and evening before I go to bed. So my question is, I know I heard him say that he also reads his vision twice a day. So this goal is actually really specific. It's not really entailed to all my business. This is more of real estate related. So do I really, I guess, focus on the vivid vision since it covers everything about my life aspect within the next 5 years? And then just reread that twice a day, morning and an evening? Or I guess this is probably like a more personal preference or whatnot, but does that make sense?
Yeah, I read my vision twice a month, not twice a day. I should read it twice a day. It'd probably happen way sooner, but I read it twice a month. And so what I would do is I'd have those goals that you wrote out from Think and Grow Rich, and I'd read those on a daily basis because those are like the small micro tasks that will get you to the macro goal, which is your 5-year vision. And then I'd have a 5-year vision, if I were you, that I read monthly or biweekly or weekly, whatever compels you, whatever inspires you. So I think the two can coexist, and I think they both work in harmony with one another.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You bet, man.
Yeah. Man, I read that book back in 2013. Yeah. Think and Grow Rich. And in it, there's one part that he talks about like how much money do you want to have saved? Mm-hmm. And man, so this goes back to 2013. At this point when I read the book was in January of 2013. I didn't have a driver's license yet. I was trying to convince GM to help me work, to hire my company because I couldn't even work. And I had moved to Austin. I read that book, and in it he says, if you write like I, Diego Corso, will have in my possession the amount of money I wrote, I, Diego Corso, will have in my possession $25,000, and by the end of 2013, and by doing this, I will do this by rendering services, and I mentioned software developer, real estate, all of that stuff, and I read that every single day, and crazy, I couldn't work, I couldn't do anything, but by the end of 2013, mid 2014, I had those $25,000 that I used to buy my first property in Florida. And that was the $25,000 net worth that I had when I went to the GoBundance event. But that comes from like reading those things.
And keep in mind, this was from a guy who couldn't get a job with GM, rode his bike to work, had to create a corporation, convince GM to hire his corporation as a consultant so he could have a job because he didn't have a green card. And he could do it. Like if he could do it, who am I, an American citizen that has had my license 16 to like say, life is hard, I can't do it. Like that guy has overcome every freaking obstacle to achieve financial freedom, to escape the rat race, to live financially free, to have a life of abundance, all because he had a crystal clear vision. He set goals for his life and he ingrained it in his subconscious mind.
That's what it's all
incredible,
about.
Man. It's amazing.
It's all about. But you have to believe in it as well, and believe that the universe is conspiring to help you achieve that, and it's going to put the right people in your life, the right peer group, to help you get there. And Matt, we both started at the same time, so it's been great. I will do.
That's one of the things too. I would say, like a lot of people get nervous about sharing their goals and sharing their vision. Like they're afraid people are going to judge them. They're afraid people are going to question them. Now, like I don't run around showing everybody my bank account or my vision board or this, that, or the other. But when I'm in with the right people, I share my goals. I share my vision. I talk about this stuff. I put it out into the universe. So not only can those people, my board of directors, my peer group, help me achieve those things and hold me accountable, but so their ears hear it too. So when they see things that align with the vision I've set for my life, they can bring those things into it. You know, Paul talked about riding a bull. I went and spoke at a Go Abundance Emerge event. They said, how do you challenge yourself? I said, well, this year I want to ride a bull. And one of the kids raised his hand and said, how are you going to do that? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out. One of the guys in the back of the room said, my cousin's uncle's friend's brother owns a bull ranch. Do you want me to make an introduction? I'm like, heck yeah. That's where I went and rode a bull. Now, if I didn't share that with that group, maybe I wouldn't have ruptured my Achilles. But more importantly, I wouldn't have met this incredible kid that taught me how to ride a bull, that showed me the power of overcoming your fears, that helped me accomplish a goal and made a memory for the rest of my life.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. And Matt, I know we're getting close to the end. We'll do one or two more and then any other questions. Anybody else have any last things to share before we wrap up here? Anybody else? Any comments here on the chat? IG. For anybody that has any questions, reach out to me on IG. Well, Matt, anybody else? Raise your hand. This was amazing. Perfect. Thank you, Sue. Awesome, guys. So thank you very much for taking the time on a Tuesday night at 7 p.m. I know it's we've gone over the hour, so thank you very much for staying here, for not only like hearing everything, but also playing full out, writing writing things down, putting them on your worksheet. Your homework, of course, is to take that time, maybe this weekend or throughout the week, go to a space where you feel inspired and take all of those points and write them out. And then if you want to, feel free to email it to me or email it to Matt. And that way we can review it as well. And we'll be there to support you every step of the way.
Yeah, I want to thank Ward and Diego for helping put this on, man. This is an incredible thing. And I want to thank you all so much for being here, for making a stand for yourselves, for living the life you want to live, taking control of your vision. The world needs more people that are inspired to go live the life they want. And I'm grateful to be here with each and every one of you tonight and excited to see you all achieve your goals.
Yes, guys. And remember, this class, what we've been able to do here, you guys can take it in as knowledge, as information, but you have to apply it in order to achieve results. So applied knowledge is a true power. So go out there and if you have any questions, guys, feel free to reach out to me or Matt. I know that we shared our DMs, our IG, sorry. And if you guys do want to continue to learn more with us and with me, one of the things that I would say, definitely check out the book Tribe of Millionaires by the creators of Go Abundance, David Osborne, Pat Hyben, Mike McCarthy, and Tim Rode. It is an amazing book. And also, if you guys want to learn more about what we have at Defy Investors, definitely go to defyinvestors.com. There we go.
Yeah, I would tell you the power of a peer group is incredible. And for those of you who are on the journey to living an abundant life, having a peer group like Abundance or FI Investors, FI Investors, I think is the jet fuel for your life. So make sure you have a community, make sure you have a tribe that you can plug into that can help you achieve your goals.
Put here for anybody that wants to connect at Defy Investors. We meet every Monday, and we are the peer group that will help you get accountability. I will help you build financial independence. We talk about real estate, help you get there through, as I mentioned, accountability, but we answer all of your questions. And then we are that peer group that will help you get to your goals. So if you have any questions, definitely check defyinvestors.com. And Matt, your IG is mattking.atx. It's already there.
Sounds right.
Thank
IG
you, Ward.
Instagram?
Yes, this guy. Yes.
Kind of put two and two together when you said the DM and the IG. It started all click.
There we go. So guys, definitely reach out to us. Again, with Defy Investors, we meet every Monday, and this is what we do. We talk a little bit about real estate, but mostly mindset as well, so that we can help you achieve your dreams. So thank you for tonight, and we'll see you on the next one.
Cheers.